Welcome to the Nutrition Mission Podcast.
This is where we're going to share information about nutrition and have insights into your own personal needs, as well as product information, as well as other information. You've got to be part of this nutrition mission.
This is the official Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market podcast. And we've been helping people live better lives since 1972. We're on a nutrition mission. Join us.
Hi, this is Starkie Sowers. Welcome again to another nutrition mission from Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market. Cool moment. We're going to hang out with Ellen Kamhi from Nature's Answer. She is amazing. You're going to love to listen to this conversation that we had. So check it out right now. All right. So, Ellen, welcome to the Nutrition Mission, Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market podcast. I'm kind of really excited, okay? The reason why, because think about this, right? I've been selling Nature's Answers for years. Obviously, you've been with the company for years. One thing that I love about the company is just its foundation. We're going to talk a little bit about that foundation. But one thing, you've done some videos for us in the past, like maybe 10 or 15 years ago, when Wayne Grubasich was begging you to do them, and you came in and did it. Now Wayne works for you guys, which is kind of a cool moment, right?
Well, that was wonderful. It's probably still posted because those things last forever. And I was happy to actually come to beautiful Clark's Nutrition at that point.
Actually hang out in Southern California. Not that Florida is a bad place to be, right?
It's true.
All right. So that said, Ellen, what I'm going to do though is, I literally look at your bio and I could spend a half an hour reading your bio, So we look at this as PhD, registered nurse, okay, then scientific advisor, consultant for Nature's Answer. One of the things too, I got a couple of your snippets. I found some snippets about you out on the internet. So a natural nurse, botany and botanical nomenclature, like an online episode of that. You did some, obviously, thousands of lectures, pain-free, all sorts of different stuff like that. I just want to hear, and so I can't miss this, American Herbalist Guild, so you're on the registered herbalist on the American Herbalist Guild. Yes. And that's a rare moment right there. So, co-author, author of books. The list goes on and on, right? So I'm thrilled to have you. So,
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Did I get it all? Did I get all of it, or is there more?
That's enough. Anyone can check it out at naturalnurse.com.
So that's your place, naturalnurse.com.
Right.
Okay,
and then, of course, we're talking today about Nature's Answer, and we have naturalsanswer.com and Clark's Nutrition to visit for that.
Absolutely. But I just still want to kind of get a little founding information about yourself, because I just feel like, you've just left a legacy behind. So now, obviously, scientific advisory board for Nature's Answer. So in a situation like that, one of the things that I think of when I think of Nature's Answer, I think of biobotanical.
Absolutely. Biobotanica is also Nature's Answer. It's a co-company, let's say. Yeah. And they're both owned by the same family.
Right. So as the years would go on, when we were working with the products originally, that was the original caption.
It was, if you go way back.
Yeah, Nature's Answer is way in the back. And nowadays, of course, it's a little bit different. So I'll hold up some milk thistle here and we actually see this. It's Nature's Answer. So many folks probably already know the line because they've used it, things of that nature. So when we were talking the other day, we were talking about herbs and stuff like that. So we're going to get to that. But I want to talk about the founding father. I want to talk about what started the company. So I want to hear some inside nuggets on that.
Well, that's great, because this company was started by one individual. His name is Frank D. Emilio, and he is a master of the universe in terms of being a chemist and an herbalist. He's the founder of Nature's Answer, and he started out, as many herbalists do way back when, literally in his garage and his basement, preparing herbal remedies for himself and his family, because he got very involved with the work of John Uri Lloyd. And that all exists for anyone at the Lloyd Library. And I used to travel to the Lloyd Library once a year, but now everything's online. You can get an account for free at the Lloyd Library. And that has all the old eclectic doctors herbal remedies and also how to extract out the most and the best quality of active constituents from each herb.
Okay, so that's critical. Two things. Number one, you're talking about eclectic physicians.
Correct.
And they were the normal physicians back in the 1800s, using herbs and alternative therapies that were available to us. And then the drug mantra starts coming in and starts changing that.
Right. I would just say it wasn't alternative therapy. It was the mainstream medicine of the day.
The normal medicine of the day. In fact, echinacea, I think, was the number one antibiotic in use in 1920, before antibiotics came on the market.
And now it's illegal to use that word if you're discussing it.
That is true. That is true. You can't say that echinacea is like an antibiotic anymore, right? So, all right. So that said, so he starts the company, literally founds it on the eclectic herbalist concepts and some of the foundations. So let's talk a little bit about that. I think it's important to understand the extraction method is a little bit different. So when you're buying a Nature's Answer product, here's some black walnut. By the way, I've got some valerian. I brought some valerian with me today, as well as some milk thistle. I want to talk a little bit about some of these herbs. So his processing being in that format, what did he do different than a lot of herb companies are doing now?
Really, it's so exclusive and no one has been able to duplicate it. He set up a factory which exists now in Hauppauge, New York, where he brought in all this equipment and developed a patented process as a chemist to where he could make a much more concentrated herbal extract instead of just herbal tinctures. Herbal tinctures tend to have quite a bit of alcohol, and he felt he wanted to have the active constituents without a lot of alcohol. Now, sometimes other companies make alcohol free, but those will usually be glycerites. In a glycerite, glycerin is used as the extracting agent, but that brings out a different component of actives. So Frank used alcohol, and very good quality, by the way, organic alcohol, to extract. Go ahead.
That's important to get the extraction right. You want alcohol.
Right. And then he developed this method, which is called biochelation. That's a registered trademark of Nature's Answer, where the alcohol is actually taken off, but the concentrate remains. And then if we're going to sell it as an alcohol free, then they add back in glycerin, which is very different than a glycerite where you're using glycerin for the extraction.
Yeah, and the glycerin really doesn't extract enough of the nutrients oftentimes, does it?
It doesn't, and it also extracts different ones because some things are soluble in water or alcohol. That's called the menstruum, the thing you soak the herb in. So Nature's Answers is quite unique.
It is very unique. So a couple of things. So I've got some milk thistle here. And so when you look at the milk thistle, you'll notice it's like a cloudy color. Most of those alcoholic extracts will be like maybe an amber color, but it's still visibly where you can see through it. So you actually see watery is a great way of saying it. So this one actually has a very heavy concentrate of the actual herb constituents in the actual bottle every single time. So that's very significant.
So another way to point that out, right, is when you look at a lot of those bottles, they'll have a ratio on them. So Nature's Answer is 1 to 1. Right. So 1 to 1 means in one bottle, just like you're holding there, you get 1,000 milligrams in one dropper full. As a nurse, that's really important because we need to know the dosage that someone is going to get. It's not just one dropper full, it's how much dried herb equivalent. So in a 1 to 1, you'd get 1,000. If you were getting another brand that, let's say, is 1 to 4, you would actually have to buy 4 bottles to get the same amount as you'd get in one bottle of Nature's Answer, because if it was 1 to 4, each dropper would give you 250 milligrams.
Right. So you're going to take 4 of them, you get 4 ounces of the other one to get 1 ounce of the Nature's Answer.
Right. So that has to do with the dosing, the milligram amount. All those things are quite different with Nature's Answer.
Okay. So at the same time, you guys also produce capsule line as well too. So I brought some milk thistle and capsule.
We do.
Right? So this is a milk thistle and capsule form. And then you also have some other unique products as well too. One of the things that I was like really impressed about was this particular product, your turmeric. I know turmeric's huge right now.
It is
It's
so
like
big.
monster, right? And so I thought I would pull this out, and this is the turmeric 3, very unique product.
It is.
And so when you look at this, one capsule has 200 milligrams of the curcuminoids. Now that's unique. How much actual turmeric does it take to get there? 12,800 milligrams concentrated into one capsule. So can you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yes, and in fact, the capsule line in general, if you notice, are still in a glass. In addition, for most items, we do not use any magnesium stearate for those people who don't want to use magnesium stearate, which is an excipient that used in capsuling. It's not toxic or anything. We just prefer not to use it. And in terms of that turmeric, it's very, very concentrated in the curcuminoids, which are the actives, but it also has full turmeric, because as soon as you isolate for one active constituent, you're losing something that we have a concept of in Nature's Answer. It's called holistic balance, which is also a registered trademark, saying that all of
the trademark that you guys have.
Yes, holistically balanced, which means that it's all the constituents that you would find in nature that you will find in a Nature's Answer product. So we have such a wide range. I know at Clark's Nutrition, you carry both capsules and liquids. Yeah.
And look at that color.
Yeah.
Look at that turmeric color. Just explosion on the yellow, you know? Just
here's one of the side effects. One of the side effects of turmeric is if you have a white kitchen sink and you use turmeric and it gets on it, it might be hard to get that yellow out. Not that that's dangerous, but
possible.
Yeah, right. It's true. That color is strong.
As I was cruising through the stores, I found this product that's new to you guys' set. It's called the tension ease. And so,
I love that. Oh my God, that is so beautiful.
Want to talk about this.
Yes.
Right.
Now, that tenses, actually, Frank developed that original formula way back in about 1972, because you know the company is
72.
The company is 50 years old, as is Clark. We're both celebrating our 50 years. Yeah, 50 years in the market. So that tenses, if you read the herbs that are in there, it's very unique and has really, you can feel that one work. We were so happy that it came out because people have been so stressed out lately, but it's designed to relieve stress without making you sleepy. If you notice, it does not have hypnotic herbs. It has relaxing herbs that are good for dealing with stress.
Right.
So things like ashwagandha, things like that are in there, but not valerian.
Right. Yeah. So I know obviously it has hops in it, has ashwagandha, and also ends up having with it as well as chamomile. I love chamomile. I love your guys' chamomile. I keep it around my desk. I use it all the time. I use about 5 or 10 drops, and it just kind of takes the edge off of the day. So I want to talk a little bit about ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is like, you know, it's like a mainstay on everybody's shelf now, and it's
a super hot herb in the marketplace now, although it's been used, as you pointed out, really literally for thousands of years. It is from the lineage of Ayurveda, which is the ancient Indian medicine. But I grow ashwagandha here in Florida too.
You do?
It's a beautiful plant, and it has like sort of reddish berries on it. See, I go out, I am a field herbalist, so I go out gathering plants in the field. This is not.
I do as well.
Yeah,
but sometimes limited in California. I mean, the last pick I had was chaparral because there was nothing else out in the desert store. You know.
But chaparral is a wonderful herb, although they consider it somewhat toxic. It's highly, you know, great for getting rid of tumors and things. And this one is called Ixora. So ashwagandha is one of those herbs, like what you're pointing out in tenses, that is relaxing and actually interferes with the stress mechanism that releases chemicals in your body that cause you to have constricted breathing and heart palpitations and all the physiological actions related to stress.
Yeah.
So it has been studied so deeply for its healing actions, and it's becoming very popular because it relieves stress, as does rhodiola, but without causing sedation. So
Right.
there are like no drugs that do that, yet there's a plethora of herbs that do that. You mentioned hops. Hops is one of my favorite because I teach classes on Hildegard de Bingen, who was a nurse, but of course she lived in the year 1000 something.
Yeah, I
And
was going to say I'm not familiar with her.
oh my goodness, she's a
I
nun.
probably need. Oh, that sounds amazing.
And there's many books of her teachings. She also was a composer, and she was the one who developed the use of hops into beer.
Son of a gun. That's amazing. So, you know, when I look at hops, and I've used hops before, hops are really calming on the system. Obviously, chamomile. So, but the other one in here is passion flower.
Mhm. I
So
love the story about
well,
passion
think
flower.
about the name, right? What is it? I mean, passion flower. You can't get too far away without thinking twice, going, wow, okay, so I'm going to be more passionate if I like
So,
consume
so
that.
you would think, so you would
Right.
think, and people think that, but it's wrong because where that word passion came from is the Jesuit priests. When they came to the New World, they were told that they would find a sign that would tell them they're supposed to be here in the New World. And they found that flower. And if you ever look at that gorgeous flower, anyone can pull it up. It looks like what they called the passion of Christ, because
Okay,
they
got
felt
it.
the beautiful aurora, the
Oh,
flower
yeah.
is the crown of thorns. And then the pistils, the little parts of the flower inside look like 5 nails, the 5
Gotcha.
nails of the cross. So although that name passion flower may make you think it's a libido enhancing herb, actually it's about a spiritual lifting because it was thought to be the passion of Christ.
You know, I've never heard that described that way. That's what's so cool about hanging with you. I'm going to get some cool stories that I
Well, that's the
remember
truth.
forever. All right, I want to switch the game up a little bit. I know we're into it a little bit of time wise. I could sit here and talk forever. What's cool is we're going to have 2 episodes. By the way, then, you know, we were going to talk about so many different things. And I called you up. I said, there's no way we're going to be able to get this in one episode. We're going to do this in 2. I want to talk about plants and rocks.
So you're talking about the marine-based line. So the
Yes.
marine-based, yeah, that we have a marine-based magnesium and a marine-based calcium. And see, that's a good picture because you see that little picture that looks like a cell with openings. That
Right.
is showing you that the trace mineral profile is different in terms of its ability to absorb and be absorbed, because marine plants have a different structure than plants on land in terms of their mineral content and their
Correct.
able to deliver minerals.
So
If you
yeah, I mean,
think about it.
let's kind of hit that up real quick. Then let's talk about basic calcium that we use to get on the shelf: calcium carbonate, calcium citrate, calcium lactate. Obviously, calcium lactate's from milk, but most of the stuff we're selling is the old dolomite rock, right?
Some
That's been
is. I mean,
ground down.
you have to come to a store like Clark's and talk to Starkie or other, employees that are educated, because there is a big difference between
Huge
all
difference.
the forms of calcium.
Yeah. So ultimately, we've got calcium and magnesium from this company, but here's the deal: it's got a caveat of 72 different trace minerals to make it work properly.
Right. And also because it is a sea mineral from algae, it's absorbed so much more carefully. And that is a liquid. So we have it both as that one's magnesium. The other one is a CalMag. That
Right.
is just a magnesium. People don't realize that almost everyone is deficient in magnesium.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have,
It's,
yep.
I think it's the next worldwide trend. You know, we're always testing for vitamin D, and, you know, now we should probably be testing for magnesium because most everybody's deficient in it. It's like worldwide.
I would go a step further. I believe as part of our standard of practice as a PhD nurse and being a holistic practitioner for over 50 years now, I
Yeah.
would say everyone as part of standard medicine should get a nutrient analysis done every 2
Absolutely.
years.
Yes.
Because if you're low in something like B vitamins, if you leave it low, you're going to get MS.
Yeah.
Well, if you take B vitamins or more foods that are high in Bs, you may avoid a whole disease process.
Absolutely. Yeah. The whole epigenetics concept where, hey, here's your genes. You're handed a mess of genes. Some of it's good, some of it's not good. But if you don't have nutrients with it, some of the bad stuff's going to come out of those genes, right?
Absolutely. So just by testing nutrients and knowing what you're low in, and then, take the step to eat those foods that contain it and then test again. It didn't come up. Now let's use really good nutrients to replace it in terms of supplements.
Yeah, and this being one of the most absorbable, great, products that has all the trace minerals. So here's the deal, Ellen. Check it out. I'm going to just call you Dr. Ellen. It's so much easier, right? So here's the deal, right? You talk about liquid magnesium. There's not a liquid magnesium on the shelf that tastes that decent. And some of them are just brutal, right? This stuff tastes amazing.
It goes down smooth.
Oh
it does.
My gosh. I could drink the whole bottle, which is not recommended, by the way.
No.
It tastes so good. I was just couldn't believe how like, oh my gosh, this stuff tastes good, digests well. Well, that's an amazing product.
And you notice it's in glass.
I know.
We
Everything
tend to have, which is
in glass.
really nice because then there's no, plastic molecules coming into it. It stays really stable. I mean, there's downsides of that in terms of sales because, it's more expensive to ship, but nonetheless, we prefer to have that amber glass, and the amber blocks the sun from coming in too.
Yeah.
So that's a great product and easy to take.
Amazing. All right, so I'm seeing the flags go off. Our time's up, but we're going to come back and we're going to do another one. So I really appreciate you spending time with us and some of the cool insights, especially stuff like passion flower. Kind of cool. All right, thanks, Ellen, for joining us.
Be well.
Thank you guys for joining us today on our Mission Nutrition podcast, the official Clark's Nutrition and Natural Foods Market podcast. We've got another exciting episode for you next week, so be sure to review, subscribe, follow us, and stay connected.
Absolutely, be part of it. We've got so much we're going to share with you. It's going to be an amazing ride.
We'll see you next time.